To create a 19th century Tokyo street in The Last Samurai required 3 months of construction and hundreds of artists and craftsmen. But this is just the most recent incarnation of the famous Warner Brothers backlot. Through the years, the New York street has been many places in many movies. From Prohibition-era Chicago in Robin and the Seven Hoods, to turn-of-the-century New York in The Great Race, to Chinatown in Lethal Weapon 4.
This is my third film with Ed, and basically what he wants from me is he wants me to have visualized the story and show him all the research and all the ground plans and all the models, and we talk and talk and talk. But there is a moment where I finally have to say, Ed, I'm going to do it now, and you'll see it, it'll be great.
Most of Japan no longer has this beautiful, natural, pristine quality, but it did. So how did we, in a different place, create it? We read book after book and looked at hundreds of pictures. This was a time in which the camera had found its day, and so everything was photographed.
It always starts with research, and we talked about what we actually needed, talked about the scenes we would need to shoot here, and then look at what the buildings were like and what would lend itself to what particular style of building. But most of these are actual just straight-on plant-ons, where we planted on the front of a Japanese-style building on the New York-style building.
We wanted to give it that sense of modernity mixed with antiquity.
The real difference is a difference of about a year. It's early 1876 and late 1876. From the early part of 1876, you would see rickshaws and carts. In 77, you see carriages and Western people on horseback and many more telegraph wires, because one telegraph line went to one telegraph machine, so that there are tons of wires all over the street. But I think the real change was in transportation and how the people actually looked.
That was the whole attempt in the street, was to say that the two cultures had come crashing together.
We built this particular set for a fight where Tom Cruise is being followed by some Ronin and has a very spectacular sword fight with them. We built it for the stunt, really, specifically wanting to make the stunt unfold down this hill and then get to the bottom where they could actually have the fight. What they've done here is they've laid down a sponge mat so that when they have their stunt here, it'll be falling on a rather forgiving surface. We had, I would say, between painters and carpenters, 150 people. And we started constructing this street, I think, in the 1st of July. I'm not even sure now. And it took us about 3 months. And it worked out very, very well. But something I really like is the wall. When kids who grew up in 1876 talked about their childhood, they grew up beneath the wall. And that we are imagining, where you see that water tower up there, is where the actual palace, where the emperor lived, would be up there somewhere. And Jeff Oken, our visual effects guy, will put the palace in up there, so you won't know that it's not there. Look at how lovely these are, these bamboo gutters, and then the copper drain, and all these tile roofs are actually plastic. And what you see is happening now is that all of our set dressing is being packed up to be shipped to New Zealand for the medieval village, so it'll all get a second life. Very temporary, my work. It'll all be gone.
We flew in a helicopter around New Zealand for over 2 weeks, trying to find the place that most looked like the Japan of our imagination.
We started at the South Island, which everyone had told us was the most beautiful, and Charlie Harrington was our location scout and showed us pictures, and when I saw these pictures I said, that's what looks wonderful. And we came and looked here. You could see how the village would lay out immediately. It was one of those places where it just told you what to do.
I think the village is one of the hearts of the movie. It is a place that he comes to where he really gets to see that natural beauty and that sense of repose and peace that he needs in his life.
It's quite staggering for him to go from the cacophony of his past life into this place that is so placid and bucolic and ancient. And, that's certainly the point, that this place changes him.
It became a real village. There were dogs and chickens and goats and yak, whatever. There were bison living in it. I mean, it took on this life of its own. It was a real breathing place.
One of the things that's the most important about doing something in this period is to get the gardens right, and it really won't have life until the gardens are done right. And you can see that we have vegetable gardens and beans and various trees that we put in. This would be a samurai's house. and next to it is another farmer's house. We put in all of the terraces and all of the steps. Down here you can see we have a water wheel for grinding millet and a variety of things. One of the more difficult things is we had winter, fall, spring, and summer, and some days we had spring and fall and summer on the same day. So it's a bit of a scramble to get it all to look properly. So this is our main house. This is Taka's house, and it had a very special function that we had to be able to shoot inside the house during the bad, bright middle of the day. So we would come in and shoot inside for half a day and then go outside in the beautiful light. So it was very important that we built a house that would function very easily that way. Japanese architecture is very kind to you in that way because the walls are all removable and everything comes apart, and it's very modular. We're now in the tatami room, in one of our many tatami rooms. A tatami room was used for a variety of purposes. It could be a tea room, it could be a sleeping room, it could be an eating room. To this day, they still build houses like this. It's a very basic post and beam construction, and they were building them from the very beginning. This was the standard architectural style that never changed. One of the things I love also is the way the house frames the rest of the village and the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful valley. I'm most proud of the fact that when you sit here, you feel like you're in an ancient city. You gaze off, and you feel transported.
The greatest testament to the village is that we brought over many extras from Japan, many older people who had grown up in villages like this. And as they walked onto that set and looked around, they began to weep because they felt that we had recaptured something that they barely remembered.